Welcome to the Where's Buffy podcast, where we're built for comfort and not for speed. Hashtag shooting the five. Yeah, it's the Where's Buffy podcast, where we're built for comfort and not for speed. A different look this week. We have Brother Kill from Apartment 5B. You know what I mean? Appreciate you joining us, man. We just want to have a quick conversation, man, and at least give y'all folks some content to rock with this week, man. Brother Kill, how you doing?
Man, everything is good, man. Nothing to complain. COVID free. Everybody's healthy. Everything's good, brother. What's good with you on your end?
Oh man, same old. Trying to stay inside, but it ain't possible.
I feel you.
Yeah. Gotta go to work. It's Indigenous Peoples Day here in the States. If you're listening via the States, the only Christopher we acknowledge is
Wallace,
Brother Wallace. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? Because this coming Sunday,
yes, sir, we
have another Verzuz. Now, before we get into that, what do you think of the Verzuz platform?
I think the Verzuz platform is cool. I thought it was dope when Swiss and Timbo first did it, you know, playing beats back and forth. A couple of them were. The thing that's hard for me to really get into is that, you know, we from an era of battling. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to hear things like, oh, well, hip hop won tonight. I'm like, nah, fuck that, my nigga. There's a winner and there's a loser. Like, don't nobody watch no NBA game. Like, the NBA won tonight. Like, no, nigga, somebody lost, somebody won. Like, so that's the only thing that it seems like this is more of like a celebration, a kumbaya.
Well, I think when they do that, they're playing the game with the streets. Or the tweets let you know. Tweets let you know, oh, Buddy got washed or Buddy won. You know what I'm saying? What's been your favorite Verzuz so far?
Locks, Dipset. And if we're not doing Locks, Dipset, because I feel like that's got to be taken off the table at this point, because that's almost everybody's number one. I'd probably say the Primo RZA joint. You know what I mean? Slept on Verzuz is the Jonte Austin Neo one.
Yeah, it was one of the ones because they were like, we're gonna do a songwriter joint.
Right. And nobody really in. But you know, me being a producer and loving the liner notes, I love Jonte Austin. I think he's incredible. He got an incredible pen. He got an album out, Love, Sex, and Religion right now. That was crazy. He had an album that got shelved maybe about 8-9 years ago. That was crazy. So that's my slept on one. But yeah, I mean, that Dipset Locks joint was just it for hip hop. Like, I don't know if Jadakiss can get any higher up on where anybody has him right now than he is right now, based off of that.
If Jadakiss had a classic album, he might be in everybody's top 5. However,
no, dead ass. You dead ass, man. I saw so many people after that verse like, oh, Jada's number one. I'm like, just slow the fuck down. Like, I get it, y'all. I get the excitement. I get the feeling that you feel good. Hip hop won. It looked great. Jada's not number one. He may be the dopest voice ever, because I would literally trade a lung for Jada's voice, because I hate my voice. I've always hated my voice. So Jada's voice to me is just like the perfect when he's talking. I'm like, this nigga's voice is just perfect, rapping, talking, doing whatever. You know what I mean?
That nigga can't whisper to nobody.
Hey,
true. Yo, let me ask you a question. Like, nah.
That is true. There's no whispering with Jada. You get caught trying to cheat off of Jada back in high school or whatever. Like that.
Hey, yo, shorty, what's your number?
Right.
No, nigga, somebody else. No. Imagine Jada had to sing in church.
What's your favorite?
My favorite Verzuz is probably it was probably Primo RZA, just because of just the music.
Right.
Just the music.
Right.
But I feel like Verzuz isn't the same thing it was 6-8 months ago.
Okay, what you mean?
Once it because I think at this point Verzuz has had 3 eras. It was we're on our phones separately.
Right.
Now we're in a studio together, but just in like a closed set.
Right.
And now we're doing the arena versus.
Right.
I've liked versions of all three. Also love Jill and Erica was dope. You know what I'm saying? Me and my old lady sat and watched. It was cool. I think preference wise, I don't know why, but I liked the OG, like I'm on my phone, you on your phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have some technical difficulties and blah blah blah. Because once the production value started getting to it became something else.
Right.
And I don't sometimes you don't want to know how the sausage is made, Pause. You know what I'm saying? You want but you start seeing the branding, the liquor branding, this and that, and everybody coming in. And the more the production rolls, the more logos I started seeing.
Yeah.
So, and then I like that I can watch it easily on my TV now via what's that, the Fight app or whatever app that is.
Right.
But the music they gotta are they running out of matchups? They doing an opening with Supercat on Saturday. I don't know what they got. They doing some different stuff. Like they're having it's a 2-night thing this week, and we'll get into who's the versus. But they're having an opening night on Saturday with Supercat show.
Supercat versus who?
Nope.
Just
Supercat.
All right. Hey, bro, whenever there's money to be made, people are gonna find a way to make money. So, like you said, whether it's the liquor, whether it's the branding, whether it's now we're gonna have opening nights, once that money start flowing, it's like, I mean, now we off to the races with, because I had no idea there was an opening night now. But where there's money, there will be opening nights.
Well, and I think it's also because you've got these arenas that don't have shows as much. I mean, they're coming around. There's a Benny the Butcher show this week that I'm plotting on. However, it's they want to sell something. So if they can sell the arena, they can sell the arena. What we were just talking off cam about just going out in the world. Who do you think what verses would get you outside? A fictional verse.
I would say the Rakim Kane Verzuz would have got me outside. If you say Rakim and Kane in the building on some versus shit, I'm there for that. Like that's something that could definitely get me outside, because I think that's the battle we never got. That was the we wanted Ric Flair to rumble Hulk Hogan back in like 87, 86. You know what I mean? Like that's the fight we never got. It's the Floyd Pacquiao fight that we got 6 years too late. You know what I mean? Like that was the battle we all wanted. And it's funny because I forgot if it was either Kane or KRS. I think Kane said it, that if there ever was a real battle, that it would have been him and KRS back in the day. Because he was like, that's who I don't think, no disrespect to Rakim, but he was kind of like, that was who he was looking at as his equal, was KRS, not Rakim. You know what I mean? And I didn't know, like, he was like, yo, we used to hang out together. He was like, yo, like KRS, like, helped me move in my apartment. Like, we sat and watched The Color Purple. Like, then I'm like, that's so fucking crazy. I would have loved to see KRS One and Miss Melody and the BDP crew helping Kane move into his apartment and then sitting down watching The Color Purple. Like, that's crazy to just think about that. Like, yo,
you imagine, how like somebody start losing grip, like
right,
Kane at the top of the steps, KRS at the bottom, ho 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 ho
right.
ho.
Like, yo, these rappers is moving. Like, yo, it just makes you think. Because again, I tell people these dudes were superheroes to us, man. You know what I mean? Like they were like the closest thing we had to a superhero. You know what I mean? And us not being from New York, I think we view them even more as superheroes, because you could, my niggas from Queens be like, oh, we see LL all the time at the McDonald's. And I don't have those stories. I just saw, Big Daddy Kane chilling at the bodega. Like, so these dudes were superheroes to us. So I'm reading the story as a grown-ass man, like, wait a second, y'all niggas moved? Like, y'all didn't have movers? So y'all didn't have, like, y'all was rap. So again, it's just like, it makes them human to me. And then it's like, yo, we sat down and watched The Color Purple. Like, Y'all didn't watch Beat Street. Y'all didn't watch Juice. Y'all watched Alice Walker's The Color Purple. Like, what were those conversations like with KRS, Miss Melody, and Big Daddy Kane watching The Color Purple? Like, that's the stuff that's just mind blowing to me now, man. Like, that's dope. But Rakim would definitely bring me out. What would bring you out, man?
So first, fun fact. I'm not from Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
I am from Severn in Anne Arundel County in Maryland.
All right.
They're used to family members from Kane had people that lived in my neighborhood.
What?
So Big Daddy Kane would be in Pioneer City. Shout out to Tony T and Carlos. That his cousins or whatever. They would come, he would come through, drove through in the little Benz. I think he had a Saab too. Either way, this nigga would drive through Pioneer City, Severn, you know what I mean, in Severn, Maryland, and the whole neighborhood would chase this nigga car.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that specific thing because Big Daddy Kane definitely used to be in Pioneer City. That being the case, I would go outside if they did some form of Tribe De La.
That would be dope.
Yeah, if they did that, some form of like, you know what I mean. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I guess you just play doing the records. Just
yeah.
Who would stand in for Fife? Because I believe you'd have to have someone stand in for Fife. I don't think you could just play.
They probably put Consequence in there. You know what I mean?
I can't. Nope.
I mean, I feel you. I never wanted Consequence nowhere around there, but
I'm not sitting there looking at Consequence in his teeth for 2 hours. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. Nope.
Yeah, I don't know who would fill in. Tribe, man, is just such that's such a crazy story, man. Tribe, and Consequence. Just thinking that whole Beach Rhymes a Lifetime period, man. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, that would definitely be a dope joint. De La Tribe.
Yeah, that's like one of like Tribe. I'm sorry, De La was my favorite group. Period until about 2003, 2004. My favorite group now is Little Brother.
Okay.
But De La still, like, when the Grande came out,
yeah,
I would have told niggas, nah, there's no way Tribe is catching up to because of longevity.
Right.
Now, I didn't think De La had an album that was better than Midnight Marauders. But because of the longevity, I was always like, yo, it's got to be De La. And then Tribe put out that last album. You know what I mean? Thank You for Your Service. And for me, it was such a perfect update of what Tribe always was. I was like, God dang, you know what? They got it. They the GOATs. You know what I mean? They got it. I had to give it to them. But that would be, you know what I'm saying? That would be the verses that I would definitely go outside for. And of course, the verses that we are building up to this week is Big Daddy Kane and Blastmaster KRS One.
Yes, sir.
I guess let me set it off with who you got.
Oh, I got Chris. It ain't even easy to me. It's an easy one. Not being disrespectful to Kane, but I'm just saying it KRS. Like, it's gonna be a dope show, hip hop will win, all that great shit. KRS is taking this easy to me. You know what I mean? And I love Kane. I tell people all the time, Kane is like the Rosa Parks for dark skinned niggas. Like, chicks were not checking for me in 1987. Like, it's a kill you nice and all, but you too dark. Like, high school kid, 88, I don't know what the hell happened. All of a sudden, all the seniors and juniors was trying to talk to me as a freshman. And it was like, because Kane popped up and Rakim and Bobby Brown, like Charlie Murphy said, like, niggas, like Eddie and him were like the darkest niggas on the planet at a point in time. You know what I mean? Like, if you wasn't looking like Al B. Shore or El DeBarge or them light-skinned boys, like, girls was messing with you. So I love Kane. This dude is the Rosa Parks for dark skins, but he can't go with KRS in my opinion.
See, perception is interesting, right? Because niggas younger than us hear Kane, they hear KRS. because Big Daddy Kane is the precursor to Jay-Z, right? His esteem amongst like street niggas and niggas that love the generation right after, really after KRS, because it's kind of interesting how the timelines work. But niggas would assume, not off catalog, but off of hip hop esteem, that Kane is here and then KRS is here.
Right, which is crazy, but okay.
When shout out to Ghostface Light. When me and one of my best friends was riding around right at the high school, our argument was, he says Ra is the GOAT, I say KRS is the GOAT. And this is 20 some odd years ago. But we're sitting there going back and forth, and Kane didn't have that esteem to us.
Right. Because
KRS and Rakim both put out was relevant projects in the late 90s. You know what I'm saying? Rakim put out 18th Letter, KRS put out what's that? The
KRS album.
The KRS, the self-titled. Self-titled is the 96 joint.
Yeah.
Because of those two albums, you know what I'm saying? It was like they rocked a little more in the next era as well as the era before.
Right.
But that being said, I also have KRS washing Big Daddy Kane. I think after 5 or 6 records, it's gonna get really bad.
Yeah, it is. And niggas have been coming at me at the timeline. I said, here's the wild part. Exactly everything that you just said. Kane is dealing with a 2 to 3 year maximum. You know what I mean? We're only dealing with 2 albums. I've had the pleasure of seeing both of them in concert numerous times when they were at their peak. And from what I remember from Kane shows, Warm It Up Kane was probably the most hype joint that he had. That got the crowd hype. Raw is gonna get you hype. That's gonna be for the boom bappers and everything like that. But Warm It Up Kane is that. KRS could throw on Step Into a World. Like, he could just go there, and that's not even KRS at his peak. You know what I mean? So Kane at his peak isn't even gonna get more people hype than KRS not even near his peak. You know what I mean? If we go to, there's nothing that's gonna get somebody more hyped than The Bridge Is Over. Kane just doesn't have that song. If he goes to the South Bronx, there's nothing that's gonna get you more hyper than that. He could, Black Cop, and again, it's no knock on Kane, but it's just Kane just doesn't have those songs. He could bring out Scoob Scrap. He could bring out everybody. He can do.
I think that's what he's going to have to do. And that's also the difference now in the third era of Verzuz is that it's a stage show.
Right.
Now, mind you,
but then people forget too.
KRS One live.
KRS, I've heard people say for years, KRS One has the dopest stage show ever. I've never, all years of doing strictly hip hop, being on Morgan's campus, being in Philly, being wherever, I've never heard one person say, "Yo, Kane has the best stage show."
I think for hip hop, to me, 1, 2, and you could go either or is KRS and Busta, of the people I've seen live personally.
Right.
And I think Kane is a more polished performer. I've seen Kane, he come out, he'll have wardrobe changes and, depending on what he's doing, if he's doing his ladies' records, if he's doing his, him and Scoob and Scrap, get there and get their steps together. And it's been dope. I've seen that. I just don't know if the performance helps Kane because there's no frills with KRS's performance.
Right.
It's just energy.
Right.
So I think if you're impressing a room that ain't full of hard heads, I think Kane can do a little finessing.
Right.
But it ain't gonna be enough.
No, it's because again, man, I'm just Raw, Set It Off. What was the joint? Lean on Me. Like, those are all dope songs, but they weren't get you hype songs. Like, when Poetry comes on, That's gonna get you hyped. South Bronx. There's so much. I mean, my philosophy, like, there's just so much. If he goes to old school, you must learn. Like, there's just too many different cards. He could Love's gonna get you. Like, there's too many cards that he could throw out. You know, again, it's gonna be a dope night, but it's just this is something that would have may have been better as like, yo, we gonna fuck versus, we gonna do a real battle. Like, these cats are just gonna go. KRS is gonna drop a rhyme. Kane is gonna drop a rhyme. Like, we gonna do this.
That might get different.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, that would make it more interesting. But if we're just staying in the parameters of 20 songs and da 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 da, to me, there's no way KRS is touching Kane. Not with the discography like that. And people are like, damn, Kill, that's being disrespectful. It's not being disrespectful. Like, dog, there's a winner, there's a loser. Like, we're in this era of hip hop now. When you say, like, when I said, oh, Chris is gonna win, oh, it ain't gonna be that easy, Kill. Nigga, I didn't say it was gonna be easy. I just said he was gonna win. Like, well, you forgetting about? Nah, my nigga, I'm not forgetting about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, trust me, I'm good on my hip hop shit. Like, I'm not forgetting about nothing. I'm letting you know. Step into the world is that alone. And again, that's not even KRS at his peak. Like, that's almost KRS on his almost like right at the top of the roller coaster type thing. Like, we're not even dealing with prime KRS. But I mean, again, I'm interested to see it because I think it'll definitely be a dope show. And, you know, prayerfully, the people who are in there are hip hoppers. You know what I mean? There are people in there who are going to be our age and understand when the South Bronx comes out. Yo, I used to shout the South Bronx so loud, you would have thought I was from the South Bronx. You know,
100%.
It was just that great of a song. You know what I mean?
Guitar, man. It's that guitar.
It's
like
guitar
gets you every goddamn time.
Yo, I mean, come on, man. So the bridge is over. Like, man, again, I think, like you said, maybe for the younger generation, seeing Kane, and then the next lineage is like Jay-Z or whatever. The lineage is Jay-Z. But like you said, if you was outside, and when I always tell folk, I define outside as you was 10 or older. Like, don't tell me you was outside and you was 2 years old. You was born in 86, but you was there in 88. Like, nah, man. Like, no, you was up midnight listening to the radio and hitting play and record and being able to say BIGDOODYKANE. Like, that was something we practiced that for years to be able to say that along with Ain't No Half Stepping. So, dog, trust me, I love Kane, but not against KRS, my G. And it's funny because whenever we talk about battle, we've done this on Apartment 5B, and we're like, okay, these two people battle. Who wins on wax and who wins on stage? Because they're two different things. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. If KRS and Kane made a song right now, dissing each other, I don't know who would win. You know, I mean,
I don't want to hear that now.
Yeah, and you're right. Somebody told me somebody hit me like, yo, OG, you know Stetson Sonic coming back out. And I'm like, I don't. And people get mad at me. They be like, Kill, you should want that. Nah, why?
Would you rather the Gravediggers?
No, I don't want none of them. My man JR schooled me. He said, here's the thing. Stop making records and just tour. I don't know the last time Frankie Beverly made a song, but what does he do? Him and Maze just tour. You know, everybody doesn't have to keep making albums if you don't have it no more.
Well, what's the cutoff? Because AZ just put out a dope album.
What's the cutoff?
I think what happens is we do get enamored with the phrases like rap is a young man's game and so on and so forth. But no other genre of music has done that to itself.
Right.
When I remember maybe 15, 20 years ago, I'm working a retail job and I believe Metallica came back out.
Okay.
And these, you know what I mean? Nigga, you would thought the goddamn the PS8 was out that day. Niggas was lined up outside the store like, bro, I gotta get my Metallica, man. Like, I think it's just if you can do it or if you can't. I definitely want to hear new Method Man music. I don't want to hear new Go ahead, I'm sorry.
My thing is, if you can still do it. And that's got to be the key. If you still, because here's the thing, and it's coming from somebody who makes music. You got to still want to do that. Some of these dudes, I'm like, do you want to do it? Or are you just doing this to get a check so that you can tour and everything like that? Like, when you go hoop, you can kind of tell if you still got it or you don't got it no more. You know what I mean? When you pick up that pen, you could tell if you still got it or if you don't anymore. You know what I mean? So again, I'm never gonna be that dude who's like, yo, all old rappers should retire. Not at all. If you can still make a dope 16 and you can still, but what I think what happens is, and I catch hell for this, like for instance, I'm keeping a buck with you. I ain't heard a beat from Primo in years that's moved me.
I really, really like the Griselda record.
The one with all three of them?
Uh-huh.
See, the reason I didn't like that, Bink used the same sample for Rick Ross, and to me, killed it much better. You know what I mean? And the thing is I mean, and again, me being a producer, Primo was like my hero. So it's kind of just like the Prime album was incredible, the first joint. But I put an asterisk on that. You're sampling what's my man's name?
Adrian Young.
Dog, Naomi could come in here and sample Adrian Young. You could just loop Adrian Young. You don't have to do much to Adrian Young. But again, like
you know what?
What's up?
On what was the double CD for Drake? I hate to call it double CD, but the double album.
The one he did with Drake. Yes, that was dope.
Sandra's Rose.
Yeah.
I thought that was crazy.
That was dope. The thing to me is like, it was good. See, for Primo, I'm like, yo, this is the dude who I grew up wanting to be like. You know what I mean? So to me, crazy is when I hear something, I'm like, yo, fuck that. I got to get up and come in here and make a beat. Like, that's how I define crazy. Like, it pushes me to be like, yo, what the fuck? You know, like, and I just haven't heard that from Primo in years. Like, so at this point in, I hate to say it like this, but we kind of saw Primo starting to trail off. I started to see things like produced by such and such, scratches by Primo. Like, damn, y'all ain't even calling Primo to do the beat. You just want him to do the scratches now.
That's the that's the Killer Mike in them record.
That was that, but I've seen it a couple of times. He did that on a Common joint that Ye did, and he's doing the scratches. He did it on, I think, a Dilated People's joint, like where now you've almost been demoted to, we don't want a beat. We just want scratches. Like, it came out a beat that was supposed to be on Jay-Z's Black album, and I heard it because 50 got on it, and I was just like, yo, this nigga Premier's out of touch if he thought this beat was gonna fit in line with what Jay-Z is making right now. You know what I mean? So to me, like, and Primo is still using the same kicks, he's using the same snares. Where the flip is, Pete Rock is still fucking my head up. Like, Pete is still, from Retropolitan to the joint he did with Flea Lord to the mixtape he just did with Amir, like, Pete is still giving me shit. So it's like, to me, like, that's the difference to me. Like, I'm looking at Pete like, yo, have you heard the Flea Lord joint that Pete did?
Mm-hmm.
The beats on there, I'm just like, yo, this shit is stupid. And then I hear Premier, and I'm like, it's cool. You know what I mean? But it's just like, again, I don't know. I always tell people this. Because people will say they'll listen to anything. And my thing is, but are you hyped for it? Like, people will be like, oh, Rakim come out with a new album, I'll listen to it. Nah,
yeah,
but are you hyped for it? Are you hyped for it? Like, if it comes across your Twitter feed that Rakim got a new album dropping in 2 weeks, are you fucking up next Thursday night at 11:59 on your phone with the headphones on, like, let's go? Or are you just like, I'll get to it, I'll listen to it? And, like, those are two different things. Because, you know, in our day, there was no I'll get to it. It was, right, I'm listening to this shit right now. Like,
there was much more effort. I hate to be the, you know what I mean, back in our day nigga, but it was much more effort. We had to go to the goddamn Kip Mill and, you know what I mean, Inner City Records and all the stores, Sam Goody. We had to go to those stores and, you know what I mean, that's if you had a ride, you know what I'm saying, to get to the store and make it on a Tuesday.
Yep.
Now record release day is the weekend. It's consuming music. Like, music has no value, and I've said this for quite some time. Because you got this thing in your hand, and it paused. I'm sorry, but you can easily the music is there automatically. You don't have to do nothing but press play. So it's why this generation doesn't have a bunch of album artists, right? It's why everybody's album gets downloaded, then it gets immediately playlisted. Well, like, give me 2, 5, 7. It's why we open these albums now. Let me go to the Griselda feature, the Freddie Gibbs feature. You know, it's what we're doing. We're not consuming albums like albums, except for a few artists. That being said, in this versus, what are the sure wins for each guy? Like, what records for each guy's like, all right, they'll win this round?
I mean, I think, see, it depends on what they play up against each other, though. You know what I mean? Again, I think Short Shot wins. I don't think Kane has anything for the South Bronx, for The Bridge Is Over. Definitely not for Step Into a World. Like, those three, I just don't think he has anything that can even rock with. I mean, with Kane, I mean, you got to do Ain't No Half Stepping, but then again, it depends on what KRS follows that up with. You know what I mean? If he follows that up with My Philosophy, I don't know. You know what I mean? Another one.
I think that beats My Philosophy, though.
Okay, that's a good. So I guess
you got to playlist it. Yeah,
I guess a short shot is Ain't No Half Stepping. Warm It Up, Kane.
Smooth Operator.
And Smooth Operator. And it's just as KRS feel like hit one of those 3 big jokers out. You know, does he feel like throwing a spade out to cut, you know, one of those joints right there? You know what I mean? Because, again, it just depends. Because the thing is with Smooth Operator, if they're doing it in a hype setting, that's such a smooth song. So now the crowd is chill. But if KRS comes out with The P Is Free and gets everybody up on their feet, you know what I mean? With The P Is Free, but the crack costs money. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he gets the crowd behind that. Nigga, fuck a Smooth Operator. Like that laid back 81 tempo is not gonna mess with The P Is Free, especially if the crowd understands what The P Is Free is. You know what I mean? Like, and if I'm KRS and people love pulling out guests and we got a hip hop crowd, I'm gonna be like, fuck it. Let me see if I can get Mosin to Live come out here and do Definition.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you the bigger or the slicker move would be, and I was saying this in the chat, is you know how everybody has a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
These DJs got to be D-Nice, right?
I would think so. Not to mention, I'm not going to say that. I was about to say something, but I'm not going to go down that.
Hey, no, go ahead. Be free. I know what you're talking about.
Here's the thing, bro. If you want,
I say you got to bring the finisher out, son.
You got to bring the finisher out, and there's just too many jokes right now that are out there about Mr. C. So, I mean, you know, I don't know if KRS wants to take it there. Like, bro, how many times you been locked up? Oh, 3, 4. Okay. Like, so again, I didn't even think of the whole DJ situation. But again, you know, Superman's gay now or he's bi. So I'm not trying to get canceled out here. So I'm going to just, you know, the finisher. Yeah. So all that to just say, yeah. But no,
out the finisher. He's not out yet. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
The thing is just who's in the crowd. Because see, if you had the right people in the crowd and you play The P Is Free, I'm gonna lose my shit because that was one of my favorite BDP songs. You know what I mean? If you got some bougie 35 and under crowd, then they may be lost. You know what I mean? But like I said, I definitely think if you come from The P Is Free and go into Definition and you bring out Mosin to Live, man, that you know that right there is gonna be crazy in itself.
Yeah. It's, man, there's so many cards that could be played here. And then the cool part about, and it was always like that with artists in the New York show.
Right.
Because when niggas had their New York show, it would be a situation where that day of the tour is when everybody you had a feature from would come out and you get the best show. You get you know what I'm saying? Mary J, when she sung that hook for you, she'll come out and sing the hook.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's that makes this dope because you know with no New York artists.
And where they having this at?
I'm assuming I think they got some sort of contract where
with MSG.
Yeah.
So okay. See, I'm just looking at these joints right now, and I'm like, okay, Raw Set It Off. Ain't No Half Stepping. And to me, that's all you doing off this album. I mean, it's a Big Daddy thing. I mean, I guess you could do another Victory, Smooth Operator, Wrath of Kane.
I Get the Job Done.
Warm It Up, Kane. So I mean, that ain't even 12 songs right there, you know. So now I'm kind of stuck on, well, we missing 8. I mean, I guess you could do Enough Respect off of, you know, the Juice soundtrack. I guess you could do some cameo. The thing about Kane, I mean, was he even on that many features? Like Burn Hollywood Burn? Like, again, I just, now I'm looking at these albums, I'm like, yo, I don't even know if we could get a solid 20 out of Kane.
That's.
I mean, just looking at it now, like I think it's one of those things where you think about it, but this is my first time looking at the albums, and I'm like, ain't nobody want to hear another Victory. I mean, I love the shit, but that ain't no concert song. Mortal Kombat, Children Are the Future, that Young, Gifted, and Black. Well, I guess so, because so many people rhymed over that Young, Gifted, and Black beat, though. So he may be able to throw that on, but yeah, bro, it's gonna be, and it's not like Kane had a whole lot of features. He ain't bringing out none of them Quincy Jones features and Patti LaBelle features he had. So, like, that's it. You know what I mean? So, shit, it just looked even more grim now looking at these joints than it was before we started the show. But I don't know. It's going to be a dope show. But I just, again, I think KRS just has too much. And here's another thing about Chris that I don't think he gets credit for. And you said you and your cousin would talk about it with KRS and Rakim. When I heard Poetry in 1986, bro, I had never heard anybody ever rhyme like that. You know what I mean? Class is in session, so you can stop resting. If this is a tape or a written down memo, see, I'm a professional. This is not a demo. In fact, call it a lecture. Like, nobody was rapping like that. And I for some reason, it just seems like everybody just goes to Rakim. Like, Rakim changed the game. And I'm like, yo, to me, Poetry was much more different than My Melody. When I heard My Melody, I was blown away too, but Rakim was rapping. Like, he wasn't, you know, if Amina doesn't matter, just put it to rest. I'm a poet. You try to show it, yet blow it. It takes, I mean, what Chris was doing was so just all over the place in a good way.
Yo, KRS was the first MC I remember who rapped like he talked and he spoke well. So you heard him enunciate, and you heard his inflection. A lot of, especially at that time, most MCs were using their voice almost strictly as an instrument. Like they were hitting notes. Nah, 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 nah. Chris was, I will say this and that, and I'll talk like this on a record. Like, that's what you heard when you heard KRS. It was like he spoke how he talked, and he was the first rapper I can remember that did that. And he's a super contrast to Rakim, who is the super name. Nah, 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 nah. You know what I'm saying? He said that he wrote his rhymes as, you know what I'm saying? I think he played the trumpet, the trombone or something.
Yeah.
And he said he wrote his rhymes like notes. So it was all about flow.
Right.
And of course you got amazing content. So yeah, I think Big Daddy Kane was kind of somewhere in the middle of that. I think he did kind of like
Kane, because when people look at the album dates, I'm like, but you got to remember that the 12 inches, we've still come from the 12-inch era. So the 12-inch for Poetry is 86. You know, even though Criminal Minded didn't drop till 88. You know what I mean? So we're hearing Criminal Minded. I really probably didn't hear Kane till 87, more towards 87, 88. You know, Rakim and KRS to me were there first. So it's just always strange to me how Rakim gets everything. It's like, oh, Rakim changed the way the MCs rap. And I'm always like, yo, my nigga, like, don't forget about KRS. Like, again, when I heard My Melody, I was like, yo, this is dope. But Rakim was rapping. He was rapping and he was ill with it, but he wasn't doing, when you listen to Poetry and you listen to My Melody, what KRS is doing to me is much more of a deeper, different rhyme style than, yo, check out My Melody, form, my name's the R. Again, no knock, that was incredible too. I remember hearing My Melody being like, yo, this shit is incredible. Hip hop can't get no better. Then hearing Eric B as president, be like, yo, this shit is incredible, can't get no better. Then hearing, I know you guys like, Rakim just kept it going, so I get it. But it's just like, I'm always just like, yo, how did cats forget about KRS like that? You know what I mean? So, but again, it's just funny you said you and your cousin were talking about that and how it was Chris and Rakim. And that's how it was for me. And then somehow along the way, it just jumped to like Kane and Rakim. Like, people just kind of forgot about Chris for some reason. You know what I mean? So I can't call that.
It's funny because I feel like KRS of these MCs we're talking about was the last to successfully put out music. He was like that album in 97. Was that? Is that I Got Next?
I Got Next with Just a Friend and rappers. Is it Rappers Act Like They Don't Know, or was that the
MCs act like they don't know. Is that
So KRS dropped, this one dropped in 96, and this was Rappers Are in Dangers, MCs Act Like They Don't Know, Wanna Be MCs.
Yes. And those were songs that were in like the mix.
Yeah.
Those were songs that were in like yo, drive time, you driving home and
I remember shorties, the Deltas came to me when I was up at 889, like, yo, we need you to do a mix for us. We want to come out, the MCs Act Like They Don't Know.
Oh my gosh. I can
see what I mean? So that's what a lot of people don't understand too, that these shorties who probably never even knew who KRS One was, but rappers, MCs Act Like They Don't Know was everywhere, that they was like, yo, we want to come out step into that for our step show. So like, again, like you said, you on the drive home mix, you know, Deltas want to come out for a step show, like ask them for KRS One. Like that to me says something right there when a sorority is saying we want to come out stepping to KRS One. You know what I mean? So like you said, he probably was the last of the Mohicans to still be putting out relevant music. You know what I mean? And again, it's no disrespect because I know KRS is going on to have like 30 some odd albums, but
yeah, I'm cool on most of those.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, yeah, to me, he was the last of that crew to still be putting out music. That because shit, Rappers Are in Danger was incredible, bro. Like that's Primo in his bag right there. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I can't tell you how many times we used to play that 889. Or the same thing, the Wanna Be MCs on here with Mad Lion that Primo did was crazy too. Like we ain't even talking about hip hop versus rap.
KRS. Oh my gosh, if KRS plays Channel Live.
Oh God, forget it, man. Yo, that's one of the songs that got me up at 889 because we driving on Lock Raven and bass played that shit, and we was like, yo, what is this mad-ism? Like we was like, yo, it's crazy. Like that was my first time calling up 889. Then the next week I was like, yo, fuck it. I don't even got my internship yet. I'm gonna just go knock on the door and be like, fuck it. What's the worst they gonna say? Nigga, go home. And that's how I got up to 889 was because
I feel like who waited for they like I know I ain't wait for the goddamn. You know what I'm saying? It was everybody just eventually just going up there.
What's that? 889?
Up 88, yeah.
Now, yo, fam, to be honest with you, man, I pioneered a lot of that shit up there, man. Because when I first went there, my man Sid from Queens had a 12-inch out on vinyl. And this is 93. Bro, niggas wasn't having no vinyl. You know what I mean? You'd be lucky to have a demo tape. And I took it up to the station and they was like, yeah, you know, well, we can't play this shit. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't play this? I'm Morgan student. Like, niggas, Morgan's campus. And they was like, I forgot whatever runaround they gave me, they said they wouldn't play. So once I got up there, that's why I started Demo Madness, because the thing I hated about 889 was I want to call and have a conversation and all y'all want to do is take shout outs. So that was the first thing. I was like, yo, I'm up here now. Boom. We got Demo Madness. We got the question of the week. So we're going to block off from 2:30 to 3 o'clock with everybody. I was like, yo, I want this to be the city station. You know what I mean? I want Baltimore to feel like they're part of Strictly Hip Hop. So it was like, yo, we're going to do question of the week, give people opportunity to call up. That's how the callers really got to know the host and the DJs and everything from that. Because prior to that, the only time you heard anybody ever talk on 889, it would be a shout out. And that's it. And I was like, yo, that's whack. You know what I mean? So I was the one who's like, nah, bring niggas up. Like, yo, if you want Demo Madness, I think like 4 weeks in a row, you got an interview. And then it was like, yo, come through. Before that, niggas, you couldn't just pop up there on no just regular shit. Like, you know, I went in there one day just on some humble shit. Like, yo, you know what I mean? I go here, I want to intern. They was like, yo, you see all them records over there? Put all them shits in order. You know, like I was a real intern. Like I was the nigga, yo, nigga, go get some hot dogs from 7-Eleven. Like, okay, like nigga, whatever I got to do to get on. You know what I mean? So, which is unheard of nowadays. Please ask somebody to intern for you and tell them to go clean up some records. Nigga, please. Like It was like no problem. Cause you know what happened? Next day on Saturday morning when niggas coming home from the party, what you got into last night, Kill? Oh, I was up at 889. Word, like yo, it was like, yeah, I'll go up here, I'll clean, I'll sweep, I'll do whatever y'all niggas want. You know what I mean? So we could get this going. But yeah, like that's what really started getting people to be able to come through the station, because I was like, it shouldn't be no it's too hard for a person from Baltimore or Morgan to get their music up here. And it shouldn't be like that. You know what I mean?
In fact, there isn't a longer running hip hop show on the East Coast that's strictly hip hop.
Yeah, that's my baby. That's still my baby to this day, man.
Shout out to Brawl and Excel and all the folks over there. Yeah. That being said, man, what are you working on musically and content wise?
Just dropped the album with my man King James called The First 48. It's an EP. It's been getting nothing but positive responses. Even had one of my peoples give it 5 mics. I'm like, I'll take it. Cats can check that out on jamesspitflames.bandcamp.com. It's $8. I tell everybody, yo, listen to it. And if you fuck with it, I'm never gonna be that dude that's like, yo, retweet my shit, buy my shit just because it's me. Yo, if listen to it, if you fuck with it, bless us with the $8. If you don't have $8, I totally understand. Just retweet it. I tell everybody, I challenge everybody, if you like it, just tell at least 3 people about it. You know what I mean? So we got that. Still doing Apartment 5B. We'll make beats for food.com. Everything is up there. Before we jet, though, let me ask you this one question. Are you watching the Wu-Tang joint on Hulu?
Yo, so it's a running joke. I love the show, first of all.
Okay.
I love the show. I hate Ashton Kutcher. Whatever the nigga playing the RZA, he get AOD lover. AOD lover. We are going to be the best of all time. Like, nigga, who the RZA do the RZA sit there in the director's chair like, nah, that sounds just like me.
Bro, that's everybody's beef. And the funniest thing, bro, is you do these impressions spot on. Like you sound just like that dude, man. You know what I mean?
It's a running joke actually on Black Wrestling. But like, yeah, it's like AOD love it. And my cousin was saying, shout out to Math, cuz was like, yo, I didn't hear him being so bad until he was saying he didn't hear it being so bad until I told him. I was like, I love the show. However, main man is wilding.
Yeah, bro, I absolutely love this show, man. It's an amazing show to me, especially this season. When he's making Protect Your Neck, man, my mind was blown because it was just like, that's how I make music. So to be able to have RZA portray it in that way and make the band members disappear and do it was just ingenious. It's mind blowing. And the craziest thing is we were there for it. You know what I mean? Which makes it even dope because usually when you're there for something, you find so many things to poke holes in and be like, I wasn't like that. Or I know they embellish shit, but I'm still intrigued. Like, I didn't know RZA shot somebody in Cleveland or wherever they was at.
He shot 2 niggas in real life.
Yeah, and see, I didn't even know it. So I'm like, yo, is this the embellishment? So I'm like, Google, I'm like, oh shit, that's real. Like, so it's dope for us to have been there and still find out more stuff about it. You know what I mean? And it just has me going back and looking at old Wu interviews and looking at old Wu videos. And it's so dope because me and Nay are watching it. And so she only knows them as their real name. So what we did last season, we watched that. And then we watched the Showtime special. So
okay.
She's like, well, which one is Dennis? Which one is Bobby? So she doesn't know them as Ghostface and Ray and RZA. She knows them as Dennis. She knows them as Shy. She knows them as Bobby and everything like that. So
I think shotgun.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious to me. So even if I'm like when they was doing Method Man, I'm like, okay, let me show you the new video. Let me show you that video with the real Method Man.
It's another problem that I run into with that show. And I keep saying I have problems with the show. I do love the show. Every Woo Wednesday, Hulu, I'm watching, you know what I'm saying? I may or may not have the phone tucked off at the job site while I'm sitting there working. However, when they record these songs and you hear, have you ever heard the Jizzle's voice?
Yeah.
I love Main Man doing the acting job he's doing is great.
Right.
Even you, God, who I constantly berate because I hate his raps, has a very dope voice.
Right.
Sometimes he doesn't say anything good with those voices. However, he has a very dope voice.
Right.
You can't play me the goddamn elevator music version of Protect Your Neck with these niggas. I would have almost rather y'all just played the regular record,
right,
and did the Straight Outta Compton Snoop Dogg voiceover thing.
right. I thought that's what they were gonna do, and even more so, play the OG version when they're like playing it on the radio or playing it like that. Because I'm like, oh, you really gonna make us sit here listening to Dave East and these niggas? You know what I mean? So
Dave East is probably the closest rapping wise. It's probably the closest.
Right. But you're right. But outside those things, man, I think they're doing
amazing.
A phenomenal job. And I think it's one of those shows that this shit could go on for 8 seasons because there's still so many unanswered questions. You know,
they get up. Can you imagine the seasons when they get up to RZA and the Silver Rings niggas selling the one? Oh my gosh!
But that's what I mean, bro. Like being able to sit there and be like, oh shit, Ghost and RZA. Ghost has got RZA's nephew and nieces or whatever, but then Ghostface is suing RZA. You know what I mean? I think that would just be incredible to see the build up of the organization, and then as it falls down too. Like, how does that happen? Because what I did love about the Showtime documentary where they was in the theater, it's kind of like, yo, this kind of like our first time seeing each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It was dope when the Salt came out too, because niggas would say stuff and RZA's sitting over there and the camera's here. They're looking at the camera, but they're projecting this way. They like, yeah, niggas didn't care for that neither. Like, I was like, oh, all right.
Right. It's so funny because that's almost this is almost like a project on what is fairness. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, me and some of my peoples back in Philly, we was gonna try and start try and do a record label or whatever, and they would be like, well, Kill, you know all this shit. We just gonna rock with you. And I was like, no, my nigga. Like, nope. We going to Barnes and Nobles. We are buying Donald S. Passman's book, All You Need to Know About the Record Industry. Everybody needs to buy it every week. I'm telling y'all what chapter to read. Kill, we good. We trust you. Nah, my nigga, because we are not gonna be sitting here 30 years from now and y'all RZAing me. y'all throw RZA on the RZA intelligence. But here's the funny part about it, bro. We brought them books, and out of the 6 niggas who was all rocking with us, my sister was with me too. Mm-hmm. Nobody finished that shit.
It's tough, man. It's really tough to get people in line and going down and consistently doing the same thing over and over. It is a very because it's a situation where people will never all care at the same amount at the same time ever. It's impossible. Right. So I understand it.
And the crazy part is I'm like, yo, that's beautiful that y'all trust me, but I want you to understand when we're making decisions, what we're doing. And for you to understand, you know, what you're doing. Even now, people are like, yo, Kill, I want to get down with you. And I'm like, yo, let's rock together, but you need your shit. Cause I'm leaving my shit to Naomi. My nigga, I don't want no partners. I don't want none of that shit right now. This shit is going. We got kids now, so I'll help you, and I'm gonna help you build your shit out. But you need something to get down to your seed, like, you know what I mean. And I think that's the hard part. That I just really want to know what happened. Like, was RZA really the bad guy? Did RZA?
Actually, no. If you seen that goddamn documentary, the best cast visually, like the person who looks the most like their character, is the guy you're talking about. Divine, first is he looks like even the missus like, yo, he looked just like that nigga. Right. But Divine was the guy, and if you noticed, he wasn't there in that goddamn movie theater when that nigga's on the back with his name on the boat, sitting there like, oh no, I got my paper, right? Because I was doing business, right. And I mean, I think that tells you a lot of what you need to know. And then once that dispersed, RZA was like, well, nigga, I am Wu-Tang. So RZA began acting on his own.
It's one of those weird things because it's just always where do we figure out what's fair and what's not fair? Like, if I explain the game to you and it's like, all right, y'all, look, like, for instance, you just said Little Brother. I thought Little Brother would have been one of the groups that made it. And the reason being is that it's kind of by this time and point, you all have to know that the producer is always going to make more money than the MC because the producer can go produce for everybody, whereas the MC, Guru took us out to Dave and Buster's once, and he was breaking it down to me like, yo, it's unfair that Primo can go produce for anybody, but if I want to be on somebody's album, I got to get permission from my record label to be able to do that, and they could turn that down, yet Primo doesn't have to get permission from the record label to go produce for everybody else. So I just thought with Little Brother, it's like, okay, y'all know all this shit. Like,
well,
okay.
I think what happened there wasn't the money part of it, but it was the say. It was if you listen to some of the interviews they're doing now, at first it was like Knife was like, all right, well, these are the records we're making. And then what happened was the foreign exchange. And Fonte started becoming successful outside of Little Brother, and he's starting to become critically acclaimed and getting Grammy nods and all that. And now they come back as a group, and Knife still wants to be like, nigga, we doing this. And they say, no, sir, this is democracy. We all going to agree on this. And that's really why the reunion didn't work, because all three of them got back together, and then Knife K was doing the same, like, this is the direction we want to go. And we were like, no, all three of us need to agree. And if there is not even a majority rule, all three of us have to agree. And Knife was like, nah, I want to steer the ship. And so
yeah, and I also remember there was some hoopla over Fonte and Pooh, probably even before the foreign exchange.
Oh, yeah, they got into it.
Just being on some old Ninth is giving away our sound. You know what I mean? Like, Ninth is giving away the Little Brother sound to Jay-Z, Destiny's Child, whoever. And again, for me, just looking from the outside, and I'm like, but my nigga, you had to know this shit was coming, because this is what producers do, you know, like, in the meantime. And this is why I always thought Gangstar had a good, successful run, because it was kind of like, okay, you know what? When we're doing an album, we're locked in on the album. When you're doing Jazzmatazz, I'm doing my shit over here. Like, we both stayed busy. Like, that's the thing. Like, we're the marriage where it's not like you're doing all this outside podcast stuff and then your wife is just sitting around like twiddling her fingers like, I'm bored. She's doing her own thing, doing her thing too. And then we come back together and we work on us. Whereas I think most MCs kind of just got to the point where it's like, what the fuck are we supposed to be doing while you making beats for everybody else? You know what I mean? So it's just, it's just always intriguing to me. Just even with the Joe Buttons, with the Rory thing, with the business, like, you just see so many friendships still continue to end over business. And it's kind of just like, how do we ever get this straight? Do we ever sit down and talk? Like, Tip told, yo, bro, when Check the Rhyme came out, it was 1991. I'm 16 years old. And Tip told us record label people were shady when I was 16. My nigga, I'm 47. Okay. And people still are like getting screwed over by this business. And it's just like, I'm just intrigued on how did things fall apart. Like, I'm watching the Wu thing and Kappa's like, yo, I came home, they gave me $500,000. I thought that was love money. That was really the advance money. I didn't know that. Now, to me, that sounds fucked up, because it should have been explained very simply, my nigga. But then I've also done this, because you know I work in the hoods. I've told niggas, boom, 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 got you, kill, whatever. I got you, my nigga. And it go in one ear and out the other. So for all we know, he could have told Kappa, my nigga, this $500,000, this is for your advance, my nigga. And maybe in Kappa's mind, he like, oh, the advance for coming home? Bet. Good looking, RZA, we good. So it's always the way things are taken, man. So I'm just intrigued. And I would love to see, really, because now I'm going down the rabbit hole of Vlad, and I never watched Vlad, but like Raekwon on Vlad talking about, like, now I'm going down the rabbit hole to try to piece all these different videos together, because you got almost damn near every Wu member suing this nigga RZA.
Yeah, they're suing Wu-Tang Productions a lot of the time, which is him and
Divine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's them niggas, man. I think it's a combination of like you said, it's sometimes niggas hear it, but they don't hear it. And then there's also situations where the lead nigga is doing stuff like, all right, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to pay me as a producer and a rapper, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm doing both. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't think you're getting free labor.
Right. And I think that's the key, because I've said that to MCs when they've reached out like, Kill, let's do a project, let's do 50-50. And I'm like, nah, my nigga, we doing 70-30. We may be doing 80-20. And niggas is like, oh, that's fucked up. You trying to do. I'm like, nah, my nigga, you know why we doing 80-20? Because you want me to do the beat. Then you want me to mix it. Then you want me to do the album cover. Then you want me to shoot the video. Then you want me to promote it on my social media. My nigga, that's 5 jobs to your 1 job. I'm not jerking you. Now, if you tell me, Kill, all I need is the beats, we 50-50. But if you telling me, wait a second, now I got to do this, I got to do that. I shot a video for my mans. He go back to NY, and he like, yo, you not watching you not at Super Bowl party? I'm like, nah, nigga, I'm in the house editing your fucking video. That's where I'm at. But see, and I'm gonna explain this to niggas. This is why we doing 80-20, because you at the Super Bowl party. You see, you get so when Riz, and maybe that wasn't explained, and that's why I'm learning from other people's mistakes of this, to learn how to explain to do business, is that this is what we doing from the door. One time my man hit me like, Kill, yo, I got this idea for a script. Let's go. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's talk about money. He was like, nigga, why are we talking about money? We ain't even making it. I said, because I want you to understand where we're moving towards. So I'm like, I want you to understand right now, my nigga, we splitting shit 80-20. 80-20, nigga, I came with the idea. Nigga, you came with an idea, my nigga. Now, I'm the one who has to sit here and come up with these characters. I got to come up with the dialogue. I got to write this script. Nigga, you had a good idea. 20% is good for a good idea, my nigga. I wish I could make 20%. Like, yo, G, I got an idea. Do a movie about woo, 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 and I get to walk away with 20%. My nigga, I'm being nice, my nigga. But when I do shit like that, it's like, man, you on your Diddy shit. You on your jerking nigga shit. No, I'm not, nigga. This is just the hard work, nigga. You have never. So again, even when you do tell niggas, you got niggas who will try and come at you like, oh, you being shady now, 80-20. Fuck out of here, nigga. Okay, well, you try and go write the script then, my nigga. and realize how the sacrifice of what has to come with it. But, and I do think, like you said, because Riz is the one who still has to stay in the studio. After they do all their verses, they get to go home. RZA guys stay there in the joint and help mix and tweak and add things. You know what I mean? So it's just I hate seeing friendships end over business. You know what I mean? So
yep, 100%, man. But I would love to see this show go on, because there's a lot of substance to that. There's a lot of stuff they could get to, man. But I'm not gonna hold you too long. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Before we do, tell the folks where they can get your content, where they can get at you on social media.
Everything is Kill 889, Twitter, IG, willmakebeatsforfood.com, everything. So you can do jamesspitflames.bandcamp, but really you can just go to Will Make Beats for Food, podcast, beats. Everything I do is up there. Apartment 5B every week. Every Monday we got a new ep. Right now we got an ep up called Albums That R&B Owes Us. So R&B albums that you wish you would have got, but that you never got. You know, I got to ask you, bro, what is a R&B album you wish you got, but you never got? And give me the year too, if you can.
It would be D'Angelo the year after, what was the second? Voodoo?
Voodoo was 2000.
So 2001, 2002, a D'Angelo album in that realm. Like, you know what I mean? Because he was on a roll. He was 2 for 2, and he was getting better.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so funny because mine was a D'Angelo Raphael Sadiq collabo album, 2003, right after his Instant Vintage, where they did beat.
Classic.
So it was like, you know, you already hit them with Lady, you hit them with an Untitled, you hit them with Be Here. Like a year after an Instant Vintage, if we would have got a Sadiq D'Angelo album, I just think, man, that thing would have been just stupid, man. So yeah, definitely. We a couple of people, some people had D'Angelo and Lauryn Hill album. So yeah, D'Angelo got mentioned a lot, man. So yeah, definitely. But as always, bro, I'm just happy to be on the show. Thank you for having me, man. Let me talk my shit, man.
That's what's up, man. That is what we do here at Where's Buffy, where'sbuffy.com, 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 at Fatboy Diz, at Smoking and Drinking, at Broccoli Balboa, at Mav Damon, I am IlFam79 on your social media choice, aka the editor of the podcasting, aka Captain Bro Albano, Brew Diamond Phillips, Sticky the Dragon, Steamboat, Pod Share Pod, God's favorite podcast, the Potty Piper. I mean the podcast, Chew Bubblegum, and I'm all out of Dentine. Nice, man. Salute to y'all niggas, man.
IG.
Let us know what y'all think. You know what I mean? At us at Where's Buffy on all social media. That being said, best wishes to my nigga Deontay Wilder. Things went bad this weekend. Adrian Broner, take us out.
The gang. If I don't fuck with you, they don't fuck with you.
Well, I think it's their choice, isn't it?
Man, gang. You know what that means? Gang. Take the